My best friend Olivia and I were both adopted as fake heiresses by the Lynn family. After an accidental fall into water, we both gained a new set of memories of the future. We learned that the real heiress, Emma, once found, would seek revenge on us for stealing her life for over a decade. So Olivia and I decided to seek protection. She chose the cold and aloof older brother, Nathan, while I seduced the dark and unpredictable younger brother, Ethan. But when the real heiress returned, things started to turn against us. Olivia and I pooled our secret savings and decided to make a graceful exit. 2 years later, we were caught at the airport. The unpredictable younger brother, Ethan, imprisoned me and smiled coldly. "Lily, you have been such a naughty girl, leaving me for so long. How should I punish you?" Chapter 1. As Olivia was snapped to the ground, I was trembling under the bed. "I told you, I didn't do anything. Why won't you believe me?" Olivia sobbed, tears falling from her reddened eyes. As she cried, she glanced at me, tucking the hem of my dress that was peeking out from under the bed. "Emma wouldn't lie to me." Nathan looked down at Olivia coldly, his eyes like glaciers. "Besides, if it wasn't you, who else could it be? Did Emma throw herself down the stairs?" Olivia cried heartbrokenly. "We have known each other for 10 years. Don't you know what kind of person I am? If she wouldn't lie to you, do you think I'm capable of doing such a thing?" Her voice, choked with sobs, made even my heart ache. But Nathan's voice remained ice cold. "She's back now, which means you are about to lose everything you once had. People will do anything for money, won't they?" "Nathan, is your heart made of stone? I have followed you for so many years. Is this what you think of me?" Olivia struggled to her knees, clutching Nathan's clothes, begging through tears. "Please believe me, okay? I really didn't touch her. She fell by herself. Please believe me." Another resounding slap followed. Olivia was knocked to the ground again. Then came Nathan's warning voice. "You better pray Emma is all right. If anything happens to her, I will have your life." With that, Nathan turned to leave. Olivia cried and chased after him. "Don't go, Nathan, please don't go." But the door was slammed shut mercilessly. Only when I heard the sound of a car engine starting downstairs did I slowly crawl out from under the bed. Olivia was taking selfies with her phone, pouting. You know, my teary-eyed, pitiful look is quite photogenic. I was speechless. Walking over to her, I examined both sides of her face. "Your guy is quite considerate," slapping both cheeks evenly. "It hurts like hell," she grumbled, taking out a first aid kit from the bedside table and applying ointment to her face. "This isn't working. If things keep going this way, we are definitely going to lose to Emma." "What should we do?" I asked. "That Emma has 1,000 tricks up her sleeve. In less than half a year since she's been back, look at how much we have suffered." Olivia's expression turned serious. "We can't rely on men anymore. Let's plan our escape." Olivia and I grew up together in an orphanage. When we were 10, because one of us had similar eyes and the other had a similar mouth, Mr. and Mrs. Lynn adopted us from the orphanage to comfort their longing for their lost daughter. We enjoyed 8 years of life as young heiresses. At 18, Olivia and I both fell into water. When we woke up, we had gained a new set of memories of the future. In these memories, the real heiress, Emma, would be found when we turned 21. She would seek revenge on us for stealing her life of luxury for over a decade, launching a series of vicious attacks. In the end, after her repeated framing and slander, Olivia and I would be tortured to death by the two brothers. After this revelation, we decided to seek protection. She chose the cold and aloof older brother, while I seduced the dark and unpredictable younger brother. Though these two men had vastly different personalities, they did have something in common. They were both incredibly handsome and unbelievably rich. Filthy rich. Either one of them alone could dominate the entire city of New York. For 3 years, Olivia and I used every trick in the book to develop somewhat improper relationships with them. We played the roles of hopelessly devoted lovers while using unlimited black cards to splurge everywhere. Until the real heiress, Emma, returned. At first, we were able to cleverly dodge her little schemes. But Olivia and I together couldn't make up one complete brain. And gradually we became overwhelmed, starting to stumble repeatedly. Especially this time. Emma directly framed Olivia for pushing her down the stairs, cleverly using the camera angles to create the illusion that Olivia had pushed her. In an instant, Olivia became the target of everyone's anger. And our big brother Nathan, Olivia's chosen protector, still chose to blindly believe Emma. If this continues, we will probably still end up being tortured to death. Plan A seems to have failed. Olivia started rummaging through drawers and cabinets. We can start preparing Plan B now. Right now it's me who's stumbled. Nathan will at most torture me mentally. When that real heiress targets you, with your guy's methods, you will probably die even more miserably. Thinking of Ethan's face, I immediately nodded in agreement. Right, let's run quick. Ethan and Nathan were half-brothers with different mothers. Nathan took his father's surname, while Ethan took his mother's. Unlike Nathan, everything Ethan owned was earned through his own abilities, carved out of a sea of blood. I once saw him stab a knife into the eye of someone who tried to harm me, then calmly wipe the blood off his face, take my hand, and casually end that person's life with a single word. This scene haunted my nightmares for a long time after. I heard that when Ethan was young, he was very close to his biological sister. If Emma were to frame me, that knife would probably end up in my eye. Olivia finally took out a stack of documents from a drawer with 3 locks, dumping them all on the bed. Looking at the pile of bank books and new identity documents, my eyes lit up. You are still the best, preparing everything so thoroughly. Olivia gave me an exasperated look. What else? Rely on you? If we relied on you, we would both starve to death in the future. From the day we decided to change our fate 3 years ago, Olivia and I had been planning 2 strategies simultaneously, just in case. For 3 years, we saved every penny we could, entrusting it all to Olivia, who studied finance, to manage. Now it had become a considerable sum. How are we going to escape? I asked her. Olivia took out 2 pieces of paper, writing kidnapping and suicide on them respectively, crumpling them into balls, and letting me choose. If you pick suicide, you die first. If kidnapping, you die later. I rubbed my hands together, mentally pointing back and forth between the 2 options. Everyone would want to choose suicide, to die first and be done with it. The person who gets kidnapped not only has to act out one last play, but also face various unexpected situations, which is thankless work. After praying to my ancestors for 18 generations to bless me, I still ended up choosing kidnapping. I let out a wail. Olivia made a sympathetic sound. No choice, it's fate. Sorry about that. Plan B officially launched, and our escape countdown began. Olivia prepared to act out a few more scenes of heartbreak, pretending to have depression and visiting a psychiatrist a few times to get some reports for the show. I came back to wait obediently for instructions, while also figuring out how to get some more pocket money from Ethan. After all, who doesn't like having more money? Not long after I got home, Ethan returned, looking travel-worn. I sat obediently in the living room smiling as I waited for him. He threw off his coat and pulled me into his arms, his cool fingertips brushing across my lips. I thought he was going to kiss me, so I gently closed my eyes. But after a while his lips didn't touch mine. I opened my eyes to find his obsidian-like eyes studying me coldly. My heart skipped a beat. Your location system was turned off this afternoon. Where did you go? I went shopping. My phone died and I only charged it when I got home. To prove myself, I handed him my phone that had just been charged. Good girl. He patted my head like he was petting a puppy, then produced a strawberry cake as if by magic. "I bought this for you." My eyes lit up and I snuggled into his arms, giving him a quick kiss on the lips. Unlike Nathan, Ethan had an almost obsessive possessiveness. What he wanted was a detailed response and equally passionate love for everything. Ethan was an illegitimate child, and his mother had passed away when he was very young. At 8 years old, he was brought back to the Lynn family. But the Lynn family wasn't kind to him. Throughout his childhood, only Emma, who was like an angel, showed him any affection. I also knew that in his heart, I was far less important than the real Emma. But when Ethan was with me, he was very good to me. To others, he was violent and fierce, but in front of me, he always tried his best to be gentle. I feared the bloody smell that often clung to him, so he would always shower before coming to see me. He learned that I liked sweets, so he would bring me various desserts almost every time he came back. Emotionally, he gave me a sense of security. Materially, I never lacked for anything. He even bought an entire island for me, decorating it exactly the way I liked. On the balcony of the villa, we kissed passionately in the sea breeze. He left deep and shallow bite marks on my neck. "If I ever lose sight of you again, I will lock you up on this island. Only I can see you, touch you like this." His hands explored deeper, and I, red-eyed, gradually surrendered to his dominance. For a moment, I even entertained the thought of staying by Ethan's side for a lifetime. But I knew I couldn't. More than love, I hoped to live freely in the future. Ethan. In the heat of passion, I chanted his name over and over, and he, bit by bit, pressed me deeper. In the dead of night, Ethan woke up but didn't see me. He searched the entire villa before finally finding me facing the sea. I wore only a coat, my thin figure swaying in the sea breeze. "I told you, you are not allowed to leave my sight ever." Ethan embraced me from behind, his domineering lips kissing from my neck to my ear. When he saw my tear-stained face, he froze. "Why are you crying? Will you marry me?" I asked him, my tear-filled eyes full of uncertainty and pain. I had approached Ethan with a purpose, and to please him, I played the role of an obedient girl as best I could. In every aspect, we were perfectly compatible. This was the first time, in front of him, that I asked for a formal commitment. He frowned but didn't say a word. My tears fell harder. "It's been 3 years, and no one knows I exist in your life. I can't see any future. Ethan, tell me you will marry me, okay? Even if it's a lie, please?" He let go of me. I anxiously grabbed him, the light in my eyes shattering bit by bit. "What am I to you? You won't even lie to me?" The phone rang at that moment. He answered it. It was from the hospital, and I clearly heard the doctor's voice on the other end. Emma had woken up from her coma. After hanging up, Ethan turned to leave. I cried and threw myself at him, begging in a humble tone. "Don't go, stay with me, please." He shook me off, his expression cold, his tone full of undisguised irritation. "Lily, I don't like women who don't know their place." I stood by the sea, watching his yacht cut across the water. The entire island was left with just me. I threw the eye drops I had used to fake tears into the trash can, then ran up and down the villa several times, digging out all the private money I had hidden in various corners. 3 cards, and some valuable but inconspicuous trinkets. After packing up my belongings, I called Olivia. She had everything prepared on her end too. The next day before leaving the island, I sent messages to Ethan every few minutes as usual. The content was all crazy talk I found online. Things like, "If you don't pay attention to me, I will die," and such. Sure enough, when I tried to send another message, it showed a red exclamation mark. Ethan had blocked me. A woman who wasn't obedient enough, he wouldn't even bother to comfort. This was good too. I had achieved my goal, and could finally send Olivia off properly. Emma had woken up, but the doctor said that the fall had caused permanent nerve damage in one of her legs, and she might never be able to stand again. This Olivia is too much. Nathan was furious. He held Emma's hand tightly. I will definitely give you justice for this, sister. Emma's eyes reddened, and large tears fell uncontrollably. She kept shaking her head. It's the two sisters who have been with you day and night for over a decade, not me. I suddenly came back and took everything that should have belonged to them. It's understandable that they hate me. It's okay, brother. It's just one leg. Don't cause trouble for Olivia because of me. As long as you brothers are happy and our family can be together, I don't mind what happens to me. Compared to Olivia's willfulness and selfishness, Emma's self-sacrifice made Nathan feel even more guilty. Originally, he still held out hope, thinking this might all be an accident. But hearing Emma's words, even if he didn't want to admit it, he had to believe. His woman had actually crippled his own sister. Nathan took out his phone, his face cold, and dialed a number. The line was busy. He tried several more times, but then it went straight to voicemail. Just as he was about to try again, he received a call from me. What do you want? Nathan's angry shout almost made me forget the script I had prepared. After a while, I finally remembered my task and anxiously recited my lines. It's terrible, Nathan. I just got a call from Olivia. She was crying non-stop, saying she was in so much pain that she couldn't go on living. It was like she was leaving her last words. Now I can't reach her no matter how I call. Did Olivia do something stupid? I can't get away right now. You need to go check on her immediately. Nathan just laughed coldly, his tone full of sarcasm. Enough, Lily. Are you trying to deceive me along with Olivia now? Tell her, I'm tired of these little tricks. This time she crippled Emma, and she thinks she can escape responsibility with this method? Impossible. She better have committed suicide, otherwise, I will make her pay for her evil deeds. With that, he hung up without giving me a chance to speak. After hanging up, Nathan stared at the several unanswered calls he had made, lost in thought. Amid his anger, his heart felt inexplicably empty, as if something had disappeared. Brother, I just heard. Is Olivia really going to commit suicide? Emma's face showed anxious concern. Then you should hurry back to check on her. I will be fine here. Olivia is more important. Nathan frowned. Emma, you are still too kind. You don't understand how wicked people can be. She's used this trick more than once. It's just to escape responsibility. Don't worry about it. He walked over and tucked Emma's blanket in. Don't worry, I will give you justice. I won't let you suffer in vain. Emma lowered her eyes, biting her lower lip lightly. A tear hung at the corner of her eye before finally falling. She whimpered, burying herself in Nathan's arms pitifully. Brother, I just wanted our family to accept me. Why did it turn out like this? Nathan, who had planned to go home and check, saw Emma's fragile and pitiful state and ultimately softened, deciding to stay with her. As night fell, Nathan looked at the sleeping Emma behind him, opened his phone, and stared at the empty chat window with Olivia. He tried calling her again. It was still the cold robotic voice of the switched-off prompt. He sat on a bench, looking at the bright moon in the sky, and rubbed his somewhat empty-feeling heart. He carefully recalled the events of the past few days. It seemed that since Emma's return, he had been neglecting Olivia. During this time, she had mostly been crying, breaking down in tears, hysterical due to his distrust. Even at the end, when he was leaving, he saw her kneeling on the ground, begging him so pitifully. But at that time, he seemed to not even look at her, and even said harsh words to her. Thinking of this, Nathan suddenly stood up, pacing anxiously on the balcony for several rounds, before finally calling me again. Did you find Olivia? Tell her to stop throwing a tantrum and call me back immediately. Yes, I found Olivia. My voice sounded hoarse, as if I had just been crying. But unfortunately, she can't call you anymore. She's dead. Suicide. She took sleeping pills and set herself on fire. She didn't even want to leave you a complete corpse. Are you satisfied now? The other end of the line suddenly went quiet. Nathan was silent for a long time. If it weren't for his increasingly rapid breathing, I would have thought the call had been disconnected. Lily, this joke isn't funny. Now immediately let Olivia contact me. I can overlook her pushing Emma. Just let her. If you don't believe me, you can come back anytime. I interrupted him, my voice breaking into sobs again. We just found her body. When Nathan rushed back, I was kneeling at the entrance of the now burned down villa. In front of me was a charred body covered with a white cloth. Nathan ran over, but stopped abruptly when he saw the body. He stood there for a long time before finally gathering the courage to walk towards us, step by hesitant step. The firefighters said the fire started at 2 in the afternoon. Before that, I called you. If at that time you had come back to check, perhaps everything would have been different. I looked up, my face ashen. Now it's done. She's dead. There won't be anyone to bother you anymore. You must be satisfied now, right? Nathan's face turned pale. I was just angry at her. I never thought she would actually. He reached out, wanting to lift the white cloth covering the body. Seeing this, I quickly grabbed his hand and, mustering all my strength, slapped him hard across the face. My palm stung from the impact, but I felt incredibly satisfied inside. However, at this moment, I still had to professionally display my acting skills. You dare to see her? I choked out, large tears falling. You didn't trust her, abandoned her time and time again, leaving her alone to break down night after night. Now you have driven her to death, and you dare to see her. I fiercely protected the body, my throat becoming hoarse from the hysterics. It was because of Emma that she could be by your side. Now, it's also because of Emma that she's left you forever. She wouldn't want to see you. I wiped my tears, speaking word by word. Don't do those self-indulgent things. When she was alive, you didn't give her a proper status. Now that she's dead, please let her die cleanly. Before leaving with Olivia's body, I left Nathan with one last sentence. By the way, she told me she left something in your email. Perhaps you should take a look. After delivering my lines, I quickly left with Olivia's body. My most important task in this scene was to prevent Nathan from seeing the body. This body was a human-shaped toy we bought a couple of days ago. The shop owner said at the time that this toy, except for not being human, looked almost indistinguishable from a real person in appearance. After being burned and covered with a white cloth, it was enough to pass as real. But once uncovered and examined closely, I couldn't guarantee it won't be discovered as fake. Nathan followed behind me all the way. I drove to the crematorium and met with the staff we had already briefed, promptly sending Olivia's body in. When I came out holding the urn, Nathan, standing outside with red eyes, reached out trembling hands. At least, let me keep her ashes. I pressed my lips together and handed him the urn. After getting in the car, I saw through the rearview mirror that Nathan was holding the urn, crying almost to the point of fainting. He must have read that email. When Olivia was writing the email, I was watching beside her. Every word was heartfelt and helpless, enough to make even a stone-hearted person cry for 2 days. Nathan's reaction was within my expectations. As for that urn, it contained the ashes of some dead stray cats and dogs. I didn't believe he would take the urn for DNA testing. At this point, Olivia was thoroughly dead, and my cleanup task was successfully completed. That night, I used a spare card to call Olivia and sent her the video recorded by the miniature camera I had been wearing on my chest. She immediately hung up the phone. A moment later, she sent me a message. Feels good. I cursed silently. After being abused so much, Watching Nathan being tortured like this by her fake death, of course she would feel good. But it's a pity. No one to clean up after me. I wonder how Ethan would react if I died. I daydreamed for a while, but couldn't imagine what Ethan would look like when he was heartbroken. Sighing, I rolled over on the bed, opened my phone, and tentatively sent another message. Good, still blocked. Nothing to imagine anymore. Nathan at least still had some humanity. But Ethan. His heart was cold. The only one he probably cared about was his sister Emma. As for me, this scheming woman who climbed into his bed with ulterior motives, and even dared to ask for a commitment. Forget it. After making up my mind, I also started preparing for my own death. A few days later, it was time to orchestrate my kidnapping. The yacht floated on the sea. Olivia tied me up, finished filming the video, and called Ethan using a voice changer. At first, she used my phone to call, but after 2 or 3 attempts, she was blocked. Only when she switched to a backup phone did Ethan's low voice come through. Ethan, I have Lily in my hands now. If you want to save her life, come and exchange yourself for her. I'm only giving you 3 hours. Until nightfall, if you still haven't come, don't blame me for killing her. Ethan was silent for a moment on the other end of the phone before a low laugh came through, threatening me. Cut the crap. Either you come to exchange for her, or I will kill her. It's your choice. Ethan was known for his ruthlessness, and he had many enemies in the city. When I was with him, there were several instances of enemies coming to our door. This was one of the reasons we planned this kidnapping scenario. Brother, has something happened to Sister Lily? Olivia had put the call on speaker, and I could clearly hear Emma's pitiful voice. If I wasn't mistaken, it was probably because Nathan had been neglecting Emma lately due to Olivia's death. So she turned to Ethan, wanting to get rid of me. I nudged Olivia's arm, and she continued. You only have 3 hours. If I don't see you, your beloved woman will become a floating corpse in the sea. Ethan laughed coldly, his low voice as cold as ice. Is that so? Unfortunately, you have bet on the wrong chip. What beloved woman? To me, she's nothing more than a tool to pass the time. If you want to kill her, go ahead. It's up to you. His cold response made me want to cry. I choked out. So it's true, Ethan. You never loved me. 3 years, even if you kept a dog by your side, you should have some feelings for it by now. But why? I cried heart-wrenchingly. Why after so long, haven't I been able to enter your heart? Why? You don't need to come save me, Ethan. In the future, I won't bother you anymore. Just a tool to pass the time. If it's not me, it would be someone else, right? Then I started smashing things around, creating a chaotic scene. Olivia quickly said, Not good, she's going to jump into the sea. Lily, calm down. For the first time in 3 years, I heard such panic in Ethan's voice. He finally wasn't cold anymore. I smiled through my tears, facing the sea breeze, a tear falling. If there's a next life, Ethan, will you love me then? Then, after a clear sound of someone falling into water, Olivia quickly hung up the phone and threw it into the deep sea. For authenticity, I really did jump in. But I had a rope tied around my waist, and Olivia quickly pulled me back up. We need to leave quickly. With Ethan's resources, he will probably track us here soon. We quickly cleaned up all traces on the yacht, opened the lifeboat, and rowed to our backup yacht. After boarding the yacht, we left the city with our savings from these years and our new identities. After leaving the city far, far behind, Olivia and I stood at the front of the yacht, looking at the endless sea. Do you think we will ever come back? Leaving the place we had lived for 10 years. Everything that had happened before seemed like a dream. The dream was over, and we had to say goodbye to the past. Olivia shed some emotional tears. I hugged her. Look on the bright side. We have escaped a tragic ending and are starting a new life. It's not that. Olivia wiped her tears. I suddenly remembered I had a diamond ring as big as a pigeon's egg left in the safe at the villa. With such a big fire, I wonder if it survived. I was a bit speechless. Originally, I had thought of 1,000 ways for her to commit suicide, but she insisted on setting this fire, just so she could secretly clean out all the valuables in the villa. But I loved this little money grubber side of her. The long string of numbers in our bank accounts was enough for us to live lavishly for the rest of our lives. After settling down in a city 800 miles away from our old home, I started secretly inquiring about the situation of those two brothers back there. That day, right after we left, Ethan arrived at that yacht. But by then it was already empty. While he had people search for traces of the kidnappers, he also exhausted all resources trying to salvage me from the sea. From nightfall to dawn, and then to nightfall again. The salvage team was replaced batch after batch. He stood there the whole time, the sea breeze making his black windbreaker flutter, his entire being exuding a gloomy aura. Even the subordinate who had been by Ethan's side for 5 years was trembling in fear facing this version of Ethan. Young master. Ethan suddenly looked up. Found her? No. The guys have been searching for a day and a night. They are all exhausted, but still can't find her. Probably. Before he could finish, Ethan kicked him hard. Add more people, keep searching. Even if you have to turn this sea area upside down, find her for me. Full of panic and anger, Ethan now looked like a demon straight from hell. When Nathan got the news and rushed over, Ethan hadn't eaten or drunk anything for 2 whole days. He just guarded this area of the sea, guarding that last bit of hope in his heart. It's been so long without finding her, she probably can't be found. Don't push yourself so hard. You will ruin your health. Ethan shook off Nathan's hand, his bloodshot eyes filled with madness. I'm not like you. Your woman died and you can act like nothing happened, guarding your company every day. I want to see her alive, or see her body if she's dead. I won't give up until I find Lily. Nathan grew up loved by his parents. He received proper, high-class education, and everything he did was by the book, always considering the bigger picture. But Ethan was different. Everything he had now, he had gambled his life to win. If he wanted to, he could go mad enough to kill everyone. For a full half-month, they couldn't find any trace of me. They couldn't even find a single clue about the kidnappers. Looking at the endless deep sea, Ethan's gaze grew increasingly gloomy. No matter where in the world, I will definitely find you and bring you back. After our fake deaths, we reverted to our original surnames. She was called Olivia Smith, and I was Lily Johnson. While we might still feel some attachment and regret for the past, we preferred our current free and easy life. With money, it was as if all troubles disappeared. Although Olivia and I frequented various bars, we followed the principle of passing through a field of flowers without a petal sticking. For every man who approached us with good intentions, we would only taste lightly, never engaging in any physical or even emotional exchange. 2 years passed, and rumors circulated in the city about 2 female billionaires. As our fame grew, I gradually began to feel a sense of crisis. Nathan and Ethan were both shrewd. If word reached their ears, they might become suspicious. Although we were now in a city far from our old home, we hadn't missed any news about the 2 of them over these 2 years. Nathan, against the opposition of his family elders, had married the already dead Olivia, enshrining her memorial tablet at home. For 2 years he hadn't been involved in any romantic scandals. There were only occasional rumors of Nathan reminiscing and being sent to the hospital late at night. Others said that Nathan would often go to the cemetery where his wife's ashes were buried, sitting there for entire nights. Many signs showed that Nathan couldn't forget, that he was suffering and regretful. As for Ethan, the only news I got was of him expanding his influence again and again, climbing higher and higher, until he had everyone under his feet. I didn't know how to feel about this. There was relief, but also disappointment. Relief that I was perhaps only a passerby in his life, that whether I was dead or alive made no difference to him. In the future, no matter what, no one would come to bother me again. Disappointment that after 3 years by his side, my death hadn't caused even a ripple in his life. But for some reason, I still had a vague, uneasy feeling in my heart. I suggested to Olivia that perhaps we should move to another place to live. Olivia immediately agreed. It wasn't just because of Ethan and Nathan, but also because in these 2 years in the city, we had been too conspicuous. 2 girls carrying so much money, even in a law-abiding society, would inevitably attract the covetous eyes of ill-intentioned people. So we hurriedly packed our things and headed straight for the airport. Don't you feel that the atmosphere at the airport today is strange? Olivia asked. With a grilled sausage in my mouth, I looked around. Not really. People were coming and going, all in a hurry. What was the problem? There really is a problem. Olivia lowered her voice. At 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock positions, aren't there people watching us? How do you tell the clock positions? Olivia rolled her eyes at me exasperatedly. It means someone's targeting us, waiting at the airport. Before she reminded me, it was fine, but after her reminder, I felt like everyone around me was staring at me. What should we do? I asked her. What else can we do? Run. With that, she pulled me, I pulled my suitcase, and we ran out at full speed. Several burly men emerged from the crowd and chased after us. Passing through the bustling crowd, I miserably discovered that not only were more and more people chasing us from behind, but people were coming at us from all directions. Split up. Olivia and I were in perfect sync, running in different directions. I didn't know how Olivia's situation was, but unfortunately for me, I hadn't even made it out of the airport before I was caught. The leader was a burly man with a ferocious face. They dragged me into a van and took me to an abandoned house. 2 henchmen held me down while the big man played with a knife in his hand. I hear you 2 little ladies are quite rich. Want to live? My mouth was taped shut, but I nodded as much as I could. Smart girl. He took out paper and pen and handed them to me. Write down the password. Once my men get the money, I will naturally let you go. I didn't speak, just pointed at the tape covering my mouth with my bound hands. He waved his hand, letting someone tear off the tape. Why should I trust you? You dare to kidnap people from the airport. What wouldn't you dare to do? What if I give you the password and you kill me anyway? And what about my friend? What have you done with her? The string of questions made the burly man impatient. He walked over and slapped me hard across the face. You think you are in a position to bargain? If you don't obediently give the password, I can kill you right now. I steeled myself and gritted my teeth. Fine, go ahead and kill me then. If I'm dead, you won't get a penny anyway. Let me take my billions to the grave with me. Generally speaking, in movie scenarios, these people should ponder deeply after I say this, then decide to go along with me for the money. But I didn't expect this burly man to be so tough. Fine. He waved his hand. Since you won't cooperate, then die. His henchman immediately raised a knife to stab me. Screamed. Don't kill me. I will give you money. I will give you money. The knife stopped just as it was about to pierce my neck. I obediently wrote down the password, but that big man didn't intend to let me go just like that. This girl's not bad looking. You guys keep her for fun, just don't kill her. With that, the burly man took my bank card and the paper with the password, swaggering out. Several foul-smelling men swarmed towards me, their dirty hands tearing my clothes to shreds. I screamed and struggled in terror. Suddenly, there was a loud bang. The door was violently kicked open, and the burly man who had just left stumbled back in, falling to the ground. A tall figure, backlit, walked towards me step by step. Ethan. Once again, like a god, He descended into my world at my most wretched moment. I knew I shouldn't, but at this moment, I still weakly shed tears. The kidnappers were quickly subdued by the men Ethan brought. Ethan's methods were extremely brutal. He broke their hands and gouged out the eyes of those who had intended to harm me. The air was thick with the smell of blood. Amidst the chaos, he crouched down and gently took my trembling body into his arms. His cool fingertips wiped away the tears from the corners of my eyes. "Lily's been so naughty, leaving me for so long. How should I punish you, In Ethan's arms, surrounded by his familiar scent, I fell into a deep sleep. I dreamed of the first time I clumsily tried to seduce Ethan. Taking advantage of a heavy rainstorm, I stayed overnight at Ethan's villa. While waiting for him to return, I thought of 1,000 ways, even changing into silk pajamas, practicing over and over what movements would be most alluring. Ethan came back. I will never forget that day. The heavy rain had damaged the villa's power system. In the darkness, I heard someone entering. In a flash of lightning, the entire villa was as bright as day. I saw Ethan. He looked like he had crawled out of a sea of blood. His blood-stained eyes filled with killing intent, staring fixedly at me. Terror made me forget even to scream. In the flashes of lightning, we just stared at each other. Later he passed out. I took care of him all night. His injuries were too horrific. I didn't dare call 120. I could only clumsily treat his wounds myself. When he woke up, I was changing his bandages while sniffling and crying. "Why are you crying?" he asked me. "The wounds aren't on you." I lowered my head and tied his bandage into a pretty bow. From then on, every bandage on Ethan had such a bow. I blatantly seduced him, and he gladly accepted my seduction. Outside, he was the arrogant young master, the demon they spoke of who killed without blinking. No one could enter his heart. Only I was this special existence. He would indulge my little tempers. This man who was ruthless and murderous outside would patiently coax me, buy me little cakes I loved. He would let me put my colorful little dresses next to his black suits. When he was working, he would prepare snacks and milk tea for me to watch my dramas. In my dream, I gradually recalled all his kindness towards me. But why someone who treated me as an exception and was so good to me just wouldn't love me? When I woke up, my face was covered in tears. A sudden pain on my lips. Ethan was kissing me. He warned me fiercely, "No crying." Then he gently kissed away every tear on my face. Gradually, he became unsatisfied with just light kisses, his hands restlessly exploring under my clothes. I suddenly grabbed his hand, almost begging, "Where's Olivia? Is she okay? I want to see her." Ethan carelessly kissed my neck, teasing every sensitive spot on my body. "Let you go find her, so you two can plan how to escape again? Impossible, Lily. This time I won't give you a chance to leave me again. You can only stay by my side. For this lifetime, you are not allowed to leave me for even half a step." His low, hoarse voice wrapped around my limbs like a ghost, making me tremble uncontrollably with fear. I still have to see Olivia. As expected of best friends, we both chose the method of a hunger strike. At first, Ethan still refused, gritting his teeth. But later I stopped drinking water too, wouldn't talk to him, and wouldn't even smile. He threatened me, forced me, and finally knelt down red-eyed, begging me. I still wouldn't give in. Finally, he had no choice but to bring me to see Olivia. She had also been found by Nathan, and was being held captive. "Want to run?" Olivia asked me. "Can we still escape?" I smiled bitterly. "Where can we run on this island?" Olivia shook her head. "Before we had no leverage, we could only use tricks. But now it's different. Nathan has fallen in love with me, and Ethan can't let you go either. Our lives are our bargaining chips." For the first time, I felt Olivia had a kind of radiance about her. She pulled me to stand on a rock. Behind us were rolling waves, the deep ocean. If we fell, we would be swept away in a second. Nathan and Ethan stood not far away, watching us, but not daring to take another step closer. Why must it be like this? Isn't it good to stay by my side? Nathan's eyes were full of pain. Ethan didn't speak, his deep eyes just fixed on me. I don't want to stay by your side. If you won't let me go, I would rather really die. Olivia's voice trembled as she tightly held my hand. I squeezed her hand, nodding at her with determination in my eyes. Best friends, if we die together. We know about what happened back then. Ethan finally spoke. Emma has already paid the price for it. In the future, no one will hurt you again. Ethan told us that after believing we were dead, he had investigated everything Emma had done in those 6 months. Her attending physician had also confessed that there was actually nothing wrong with Emma's leg. It wasn't until everything was exposed that Emma finally admitted it in tears. She said she just couldn't accept it, that 2 strangers had taken everything that belonged to her, even stealing her 2 brothers. She said she just wanted to drive us away. Nathan might still have some sympathy, but Ethan didn't. He directly had someone break one of Emma's legs, making her lie a reality, then threw her back to the small village where she grew up, leaving her to fend for herself. Come back to me. Whatever you want, I can give you, okay? Ethan said, carefully taking a step closer to me. I also took a step back. A look of panic appeared on his face, and he immediately dared not move again. Stay by your side. The wind blew my long hair, and I smiled bitterly. In what capacity? Ethan, can you make me public? Can you hold my hand in front of everyone? Tell everyone I'm your woman? Can you give me a grand wedding? Can you marry me? The light in Ethan's eyes gradually extinguished. He fell silent. I laughed and laughed until I cried, the sea breeze cool on my face. See, you can't give me what I want. I'm willing to stay by your side, to be with you, but I'm not willing to be a hidden existence forever, unworthy of being known to others. What I want is love in the sunlight, passionate, blessed by everyone. How could I not love him after 3 years together? In fact, I loved Ethan even more than I had imagined. But I knew him too well. Perhaps he loved me too, but in this lifetime, he could never give me a proper status. I wasn't forcing him to make a choice, I was forcing myself to let go, to not become his burden. As an illegitimate child, he had crawled out of a sea of blood to be accepted by the elders, to have everything he had today. He should be high above, not dragged down by a weakness like me. I also knew that his choice to hide me was also to protect me. Facing the sea breeze, I smiled mockingly, each word like ice stabbing his heart. See, Ethan, what you can't do, your love, is only this much. The end of love is letting go. This was the only thought Olivia and I had as we left the island on a yacht. Nathan also chose to let go, after Olivia threatened him with death. Even at the last moment, before boarding the yacht, Nathan was still begging pitifully, asking Olivia to give him one more chance. Olivia just shook off his hand and coldly told him, I have given you countless chances, Nathan. Have you forgotten? How I begged you to believe me back then, and then what? What did you do? You were unmoved even when faced with my suicide. That day, I waited for a long time. I kept thinking, if you could have said you trusted me at that moment, if you could have left Emma and come back to look at me once, I would have found the courage to stay by your side. But you didn't. So I have given up, Nathan. Please, I'm begging you, let me go, okay? Finally, Nathan, his face ashen, slowly released Olivia's hand. As the yacht sailed on the sea, I watched Olivia, who had used half a pack of tissues and cried herself into a mess. What's wrong? Did you lose another diamond ring? Damn you! Olivia cried even louder. I'm heartbroken, you idiot. I sighed. This parting was an abyss for all 4 of us. We all still loved deeply, but were no longer willing to torment each other. Olivia and I left the city, traveling freely across the country's mountains and rivers, living a life of indulgence. We were very happy and free, but occasionally we would think of the past of those two men. Late at night, we would take out our phones and repeatedly look at the news about them. But none of us ever contacted each other again. When we returned to the city, it was 3 years later. I saw Ethan again. He had lost some weight, but compared to 3 years ago, he seemed more composed. A scar on the corner of his brow added a touch of coldness to his overall appearance. Meeting again, 1,000 words stuck in my throat, but all I could say was, "Long time no see." He glanced at me, nodded slightly, and made a sound of acknowledgement. The atmosphere became awkward for a moment. I opened my mouth, about to say something, when I heard a crisp girl's voice. "Ethan." Not far away, a girl in a white dress came running. The setting sun shone on her, her eyes full of smiles, bright as stars. I had seen her before in magazines. She was the daughter of a powerful tycoon in the city. Her status was most suitable to be Ethan's wife. A powerful alliance that could make Ethan truly untouchable. "Is this your friend?" she asked. "No," Ethan replied coldly, "just someone asking for directions." The two left hands in hand. I stared at their intertwined fingers, standing there for a long time. It wasn't until my eyes started to sting that I belatedly wiped my face. It was wet. That night, I drank to forget in a bar. Olivia had been caught up with Nathan again, so I was alone in a corner, drinking glass after glass. But my heart felt empty and painful. I wanted to cry, especially after I got drunk, and Ethan's phantom appeared before my eyes. Just like before, he softly murmured my name, kissing away the tears on my face. We kissed. At the very end, he restrained himself. Tears streaming down my face, I traced his brows and eyes with my fingertips. Lingering and reluctant. "We really have to say goodbye, don't we?" Ethan held a grand wedding in the city. I watched the live broadcast, Ethan in a black suit. Beside him, the bride in a pure white wedding dress, the two walking into the church together. As they exchanged rings, I stood in the wind, gently extending my hand. A hand grasped mine, slipping a diamond ring as big as a pigeon's egg onto my finger. It was Olivia. She hugged me. "If you want to cry, just cry. After crying, everything will get better." I finally broke down and cried uncontrollably, rubbing my own eyes. It was more torturous than I had imagined. It felt like my heart was being turned inside out, crushed. It hurt so much. "You made the right choice. Doing this protects both him and yourself. You two were never meant to be together. I'll be by your side in the future. As your best friend, I will accompany you for a lifetime." But my tears still fell in big drops. I remembered that night when I was drunk, and Ethan held me. Faced with my reluctance to part, he kissed me again and again. Finally, he whispered in my ear, "Lily, I will love you until death."
The end. Thank you for watching our video. For more amazing stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel.